What separates a true master from someone who simply knows a few tricks? When you watch legends like Messi weave through 5 defenders or see Neymar leave opponents questioning their own existence, you're witnessing something far beyond basic ball skills. These players have achieved true mastery of dribbling, and today we're going to break down exactly what that means and how you can develop it yourself. Mastery isn't about learning 50 different stepovers or memorizing flashy YouTube moves. True mastery is about developing an intuitive understanding of space, timing, and human psychology that makes you virtually impossible to defend against. It's about transforming dribbling from a collection of techniques into a fluid art form where every movement serves a purpose and every touch creates opportunity. The difference between knowing how to dribble and mastering dribbling is like the difference between knowing words and being a poet. Anyone can learn the vocabulary, but only masters understand how to combine those elements into something that moves people, or in this case, something that moves past people. The psychology behind elite movement. Before we dive into the physical aspects, we need to understand what's happening in the minds of both attacker and defender during a dribbling situation. Elite dribblers have learned to weaponize human psychology, exploiting the natural ways our brains process information and make split-second decisions. Human beings are essentially prediction machines. Our brains constantly analyze patterns and attempt to forecast what will happen next based on previous experiences. This is why defenders often react before attackers have even fully committed to a movement. They're not just defending against what you're doing right now, they're defending against what they think you're about to do. Masters of dribbling understand this and deliberately feed false information to their opponents. They've learned to control not just their own movements, but the defender's expectations and reactions. When Messi drops his shoulder, or when Ronaldinho hesitates for just a fraction of a second, they're not just moving their bodies, they're manipulating their opponent's decision-making process. This psychological warfare extends beyond simple body feints. Elite dribblers create what neuroscientists call cognitive overload in their opponents, by presenting multiple attacking options simultaneously and constantly shifting between them. They force defenders to process too much information too quickly, leading to hesitation, delayed reactions, or complete mental breakdowns. The science of untouchable control. What makes certain players seem to have the ball glued to their feet, while others struggle to maintain possession under pressure? The answer lies in developing what sports scientists call enhanced proprioception, combined with predictive ball control. Proprioception is your body's ability to sense its position and movement in space without visual input. Elite dribblers have developed this sense to an extraordinary degree through years of deliberate practice. They don't need to look at the ball because they can feel exactly where it is and where it's going at all times. This frees up their vision to read defenders, spot teammates, and identify spaces to exploit. But proprioception alone isn't enough. Masters also develop predictive control, which means they're not just reacting to the ball's current position, they're anticipating where it will be several touches ahead. This allows them to prepare their body position, adjust their stride pattern, and set up their next move while the ball is still traveling from their previous touch. This level of control creates what we call temporal advantage. While defenders are reacting to what just happened, elite dribblers are already executing what happens next. They exist slightly ahead in time, making them appear to have supernatural reflexes, when in reality, they're simply operating with superior anticipation and preparation. Mastering the art of deception. True dribbling mastery involves becoming a master of deception, but not in the way most players think. It's not about elaborate fake moves or exaggerated body movements. The most effective deception is often the most subtle. Elite dribblers understand that defenders primarily focus on 3 key indicators: the ball, the hips, and the eyes. By learning to manipulate these visual cues independently, they can send conflicting signals that overload the defender's processing system. For example, a player might shift their hips left while keeping their eyes focused right and touching the ball straight ahead. This creates a decision-making nightmare for the defender. The timing of deceptive movements is crucial. Amateur players often telegraph their intentions too early, giving defenders time to recover and adjust. Masters wait until the last possible moment to reveal their true direction when the defender has already committed their weight and momentum in the wrong direction. Advanced deception also involves understanding the defender's psychology and current state. A tired defender will react differently than a fresh one. A defender who's already been beaten once will approach the next duel with different mental preparation. Elite dribblers read these subtle cues and adjust their deceptive tactics accordingly. The flow state philosophy. Perhaps the most important aspect of dribbling mastery is learning to enter what psychologists call a flow state while under pressure. In this state, conscious thought disappears and movement becomes purely instinctive. Time seems to slow down, and complex decisions happen automatically without mental effort. Professional footballers describe this feeling as the ball becomes part of your body, or everything just clicks. They're not consciously deciding which move to use or analyzing the defender's position. Instead, they're responding fluidly to the situation as it unfolds, like water flowing around obstacles. Developing this ability requires training that goes beyond technical repetition. You need to practice making decisions under pressure in unpredictable situations, with multiple variables changing simultaneously. Static cone drills might improve your technique, but they won't develop the adaptive intelligence required for mastery. The key is creating training scenarios that force your brain to process information and make decisions at game speed. This develops what neuroscientists call neural efficiency, where your brain requires less conscious effort to perform complex tasks, leaving more mental resources available for creativity and adaptation. If there is 2 words to summarize this whole video up for you, it would be play pickup. Playing those small-sided games, casuals with friends, 7v7s or whatever is the only way which it forces you to be in so many scenarios. Advanced training for mastery. To develop true mastery, your training must challenge both your physical and cognitive systems simultaneously. Here's how to structure your development for maximum effectiveness. Constraint-based training forces creative problem solving by imposing artificial limitations. Practice dribbling in increasingly small spaces, reducing the number of touches allowed, or restricting yourself to specific parts of your foot. These constraints force your brain to develop novel solutions and strengthen neural pathways related to quick decision-making and spatial awareness. Chaos training involves practicing under unpredictable conditions with multiple variables changing simultaneously. The most efficient way to develop this is by playing pickup games, 7v7s, and other small-sided games. This develops the adaptive intelligence required to excel in real game situations. Pressure training focuses on maintaining technical excellence while under physical, temporal, and psychological stress. Practice with minimal time, in small spaces, against aggressive pressure, and with consequences for mistakes. This builds the mental resilience required to perform at your highest level when it matters most. The mental game of elite dribbling. Physical technique is only half the equation. The mental aspect of dribbling mastery involves developing unshakable confidence, creative expression, and fearless decision-making. Elite dribblers don't just beat defenders physically, they dominate them mentally. This starts with reframing failure. Average players fear making mistakes and play conservatively to avoid embarrassment. Masters understand that spectacular failures often precede spectacular successes. They embrace risk because they know that playing it safe is the biggest risk of all. Developing an artist's mindset transforms dribbling from a mechanical skill into creative expression. Instead of following predetermined patterns, you begin to improvise, to create something unique in each situation. This unpredictability is what makes truly elite dribblers impossible to prepare for. The confidence required for mastery must be built through systematic success under increasingly difficult conditions. Start with scenarios where you can succeed consistently, then gradually increase the difficulty while maintaining high success rates. This builds genuine confidence based on proven ability rather than empty positive thinking. Bringing it all together. Mastery isn't a destination, it's a continuous journey of refinement and development. Every training session, every match, every touch of the ball is an opportunity to deepen your understanding and improve your craft. The players we admire didn't achieve their level overnight, and neither will you. But here's what I can promise you. If you commit to developing these principles consistently, you will notice a fundamental shift in how you approach the game. Defenders will begin to hesitate before engaging you. You'll find spaces that didn't exist before. Movement will become more fluid, more natural, more instinctive. Most importantly, you'll begin to experience the pure joy that comes from mastering a beautiful skill. There's nothing quite like the feeling of gliding past a defender with perfect timing and technique, knowing that you've just executed something that few people in the world can do. Remember, mastery is about understanding principles, not memorizing moves. It's about developing intelligence, not just athleticism. It's about becoming an artist of movement, someone who paints masterpieces with every touch of the ball. The path to mastery starts with your very next training session. Make it count.